Have you ever wondered how a rocket works? It's not just a giant firecracker, you know. A rocket is a complex machine with several key parts: the nose cone, the payload, the fuel tank, and the engines. The nose cone is the pointy part at the top. The payload is what the rocket is carrying. The fuel tank holds the rocket's fuel, and the engines do the heavy lifting. All these components must work in harmony for a successful launch. Now that you know the parts, let's delve into what happens during a rocket launch. A rocket launch is a spectacular sight, but what's actually happening? Well, let's dig into it. The ignition process is where the magic begins. The rocket's engines are fired up, resulting in a massive combustion reaction. This is not your average campfire, folks. The fuel and oxidizer combine, creating a high-pressure and high-temperature gas. This gas is then expelled through a nozzle, creating the thrust that lifts the rocket off the ground. It's like blowing up a balloon and letting it go, just on a much bigger scale. But it's not just about going up. The rocket also needs to navigate. This is where the guidance system comes into play. Using a mix of onboard sensors and ground-based tracking, the rocket can adjust its course by tilting its engines, a process known as gimbaling. So, the rocket is in the air. But how does it stay on course? Flying a rocket isn't as simple as pointing it at the sky and hoping for the best. You see, rockets have an advanced navigation system that uses gyroscopes and computers. These gyroscopes, always spinning, help to keep the rocket on course. They provide constant feedback to the onboard computers, which adjust the rocket's engines to maintain its trajectory. It's like an overly attentive GPS for space. As the rocket ascends, it has to shed weight to continue its journey. This is where the concept of rocket stages comes in. Each stage has its own engine and fuel. Once a stage's fuel is depleted, it's jettisoned, leaving the next stage to carry on the mission. It's like a relay race, but in space. But what happens once the rocket has done its job? Returning to Earth is arguably the most challenging part of a rocket's journey. Now, why is that? Well, because a rocket has to slow down from an incredible speed, re-enter the Earth's atmosphere, and manage not to burn up in the process. Think of it as trying to park your car at full speed without hitting the brakes. Except your car is a massive rocket, and the parking spot is our beloved planet Earth. Once the rocket has slowed down enough, it faces the final challenge, landing. This is where our trusty parachutes or landing engines come into play, gently lowering the rocket to the ground. It's a bit like the grand finale of a fireworks show, but with less spark and more precision. And that, my friends, is how a rocket works. It's not rocket science. Oh wait, yes it is.